Grand Rising Kings and Queens, and welcome to Motivation Monday. I'm your host, Coach Deb. I have an esteemed guest today. Her name is Tamara Hall, and I want you to welcome her. Show her some love. Welcome, Tamara.
Hello.
I'm so glad to have you, darling. Before moving forward, I want to go ahead and request of the listeners to please tag your friends and have them to tune into this amazing broadcast. It's going to be really something special. I believe that Tam is going to drop some jewels and some wisdom for those of you that are looking for something to help motivate you and get your week started. You know, this is Reveal and Heal. You can't heal unless you reveal. So at this time, I'm going to have Tam to share with us who she is. Who is Tamara Hall?
Well, hello, everyone. Um, I am Tamara Hall, but most people call me Tam. Nobody ever hardly calls me Tamara. Um, Born and raised in good old Floyd County. I'm a pastor's daughter. Um, I'm pretty sure most of you know my father, Pastor Derek Miller. Um, I graduated from Rome High School. I have a 14-year-old son um, who is a teenager, all boy. So
Oh
pray
boy.
for me.
Right.
And like I said, I'm married to the minister Ahmad Hall.
Oh, the
Um,
famous man,
yeah,
Amar Hall.
uh-huh. The future councilman of Adairsville.
Amen. Amen.
Um, And so he has moved me to the good old Adairsville, Georgia, where we currently reside. And
Hmm.
we attend North Carolina Church of God. So if you look for a church home, come and
Okay.
see us, 1929 North Broad Street, Rome, Georgia.
Okay. Shout out to your church. I love it. Okay. Now, everybody, y'all remember when I had Amar Hall as a guest?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? He's who he is because of this lovely lady here. Yes, yes, we celebrate you. Now, I'm real excited to get into how you feel about the village because the bare focus for Motivation Monday. I always stay in that place of it takes a village, right?
Right.
Because the village is not just family. The village is so many different people that contribute to your successes, and your growth. So let's just begin with let's start with you, where the village is concerned. How has the village contributed to who Tamara is today?
Um, for me, I sat under my grandmothers, my maternal grandmother and my paternal grandmother, in which the neat thing about that is they were best friends. I mean, how many people can say that your mother's mother and your father's mother were best friends? So just hanging around them all the time. My grandmother kept me in church. So I looked up to a lot of the mothers of the church.
Mm,
Um, and just being who my father and my mother are, mostly everybody, knew them. So it wasn't like I couldn't go out here and just do whatever I wanted to. I had to remember, I'm Derek Miller's daughter, I'm Teresa's daughter. So it was kind of like all eyes were always on me. And so um just, being up under the mothers of the church, my grandmother, she always took me to Tuesday morning Bible study. Going with her to set up for a communion. She, and I always just wanted to be around her and her and all the older ladies, just to not necessarily be nosy, but just because I loved being around older people. And
yeah.
so
You sound like an old soul, Tam.
and so I just, I mean, I'm thankful for, especially in today's world,
Yes.
I'm thankful that
Yes.
I can go back to those memories and, you know,
Hmm.
and hold on to all that.
Well, tell me, what was it like growing up? Because you mentioned that you're PK.
Yes.
So what was that like growing up? as a PK?
um, well, they always say preachers' kids are the worst ones,
Hmm.
but I don't claim that. I'm not,
Right.
typical human being. But
Right.
growing up, my father being a pastor, I remember um times of having my little Bible, my little notepad, trying to mock him.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I would just say, just like, with anything, it takes, that time, personal time away from you. So, because he always had to be church, um, ministering to other people, just doing other things. But it's not as bad as people make it seem.
Yeah.
But as a preacher's child, you do get put onto this pedestal. So when, I got pregnant at the age of 18, all eyes were on me because it's kind of like, your father's a pastor, you've grown up in
Hmm.
church, so you should have known better.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I mean, I'm human.
Right. PKs sometimes live, they live sheltered lives,
Hmm.
and when you finally, get out, it's like, oh wow, it's a world that
Hmm.
you were sheltered from and you don't have a clue, so you experiment. Now as a parent, I see that now. As a grandparent, I see even better, because as a parent, honey, you that my mind was totally different. But as a grandparent, it's like, leave that child alone. You know, you know what I'm saying? That's the way it
Right.
is. It's like, leave
Right.
that child alone and let that child be a child. Now, tell me, I gotta know, what was it like with your mom and dad? Most times, most times, you know, when you get married, if you're not already saved, sanctified, and this is your life, you ain't gonna feel it outside of that, unless
Hmm.
you feel like it's your calling. How
Hmm.
was it in the house with your family? Was it something that your mom and dad agreed upon? Her being a first lady, him being a preacher. Was that something that, did you dream of being a first lady? Because guess what? What was that about? What was that experience like?
Um, well, for far as I can remember, it was, just the typical, I guess, family that America says that, you're supposed to have the mother and the father married in
A
one
two-parent
household.
household.
Um, but my parents divorced when I was 3, going on 4. And my mother, she, I guess, realized that she wasn't quite ready for that first lady role. So, you know, they ended their marriage, but then my father, he did remarry, probably about 2 years later. And so, my bonus mom, she is the typical first lady. So,
Right.
um, I have looked up to her in a lot of ways. So,
What was that like for you, Tam? What was it like for you to that just you remember that, don't you? At
uh-huh.
3 years old?
Hmm.
That's something else.
Hmm.
That your memory is that good. So that changed things, Tam. You
Hmm.
know, do you remember what it was like as a child? Did you deal with anger issues or anything? Did you turn to possibly wanting to live with your grandmother? What was that like? For you in that transition, because y'all went to
Um,
church.
well, first I'll say, I witnessed the whole thing of my parents discussing divorce, and so I witnessed my father breaking down. I witnessed him, going through that time of his life, and I can remember comforting him and giving him, letting him know that it was going to be okay. Even though I was that young, I didn't quite understand what divorce meant, but I
Right,
felt that
right.
it wasn't something good. And so then, you start school, um, and then your friends, they have their mom and dad
Hmm.
coming to, different things with the school. And here I am. It was either, most of the time it was just my dad, because my mom, she would have to work or, whatever. Um, and so a lot of times, your friends, because when you're that young, you don't understand. So your friends are asking you, well, how come your mama's not here?
Yeah.
And you have to constantly tell them, well, she's at work, or whatever. But I mean, you kind of, I guess after a while, you just kind of push it back in the back of your head and you just don't deal with it.
Well, here you are. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, really?
Mm-hmm.
That had to be something that followed you growing up, that your mom didn't want to be a first lady. So it's like, I didn't sign up for this or whatever. So now here you are though, dear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you feel about that? How do it's like, because you're in it and
Uh-huh.
y'all make an amazing couple. Love it. But how do you feel about it? Because you really wear it well. You really do.
Well, thank you. Because it's not easy. There's good days and there's, bad days, just
Mhm.
like there is with, um, with anything. But I do feel like God did put Ahmad and us together for um one of the reasons for us both to deal with issues that we have continued to just keep deep down inside. Because I've never prayed for anyone, well, especially for anybody that I was in a relationship with, as much as I do for him.
That's all right.
And so I'm just constantly praying and asking God to show me the things that I need to work on, show me the things that I need to heal, show me the things that I need to deal with, and teach me to how I'm supposed to deal with them. And even with him, like, help him with his issues. Like, how should I react to his issues? Um, what can I do to help him with his
Oh,
issues?
wow.
Just
This is good, Tam, because it's so many people that need this.
mhm,
I love your transparency. Thank you. Thank you for your transparency. Because when it comes to relationship, we all have roles
mhm,
in the relationships, right? And I believe the number one role is prayer.
mhm,
Because see, what it is, we come together. We really don't know who we have come together with, right?
right.
And the thing about it is, it's constantly unfolding. And
Mhm,
we need to pray for wisdom. We need to pray for strength. We need to pray
mhm,
for the people that we're with. And
mhm,
we most certainly need to pray for ourselves, because we need to develop.
mhm,
All the prayers can't always go to that other person, but if we get some things together, if we heal in some places and we become better, we make them better.
right.
So I appreciate your transparency, because you're helping a lot of people. A lot of people that don't even have the courage to talk about it. They just want to walk around like everything is hunky dory, you know.
And
So
it's
let's
not.
talk, girl. Let's talk about the politics too, because look, you done become a first lady, and now you fix to live in a glass house. Lord have mercy. So this is something else. I'm sure wasn't on your list.
No, it wasn't.
So what was that conversation like when Ahmad said, "Look, Sugarfoot, I want to run for mm, office in Adairsville," and you're like, "What? What
Mhm.
office?" No, what was the conversation like?
Um, so he came to me and he was like, I just found out that, position is come open, and what do you think about me running for it? Well, number one, I've always told him that he needs to get involved with something, but I just didn't know that it was gonna happen this fast. And so at first I kind of was like, I don't know, because everything that's going on in today's world, I was just kind of iffy. I said, "Well, what does your mama say?" And he said, "Well, I haven't talked to her about it because um, I usually ask him like, well, what does your mama say?" Because him and his mom are like peas and carrots. They're
Yes, honey.
um. And so, she was like, go for it. So I said, well, I mean, if you prayed about it and you think it's something that you can handle, go for it. So here we are, in the runoff.
What type of experiences have y'all encountered during this time? Because there have been so many things happening that we couldn't have planned for. You know how life just happens,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you have to just roll with the punches. I have witnessed how the world is just moving, and it's like you have to just flow like with the waves, you
Mm-hmm.
know, move with the waves. So I'm sure that y'all have encountered different things to take place that made you turn your head backwards. Like, did that just happen? Did they just say that? You
Mm-hmm.
know, with these different things, happening, and you being a parent, it's kind of hard to shelter your children from these real life episodes. And you have to have conversations with them that you normally wouldn't have to have so early, right?
Right.
So tell us about those experiences and how you handled it, as an example to, how you walk in peace. Because now, being that you're moving in this direction as a community leader, the way you once handled a situation, you can't handle it like that no more. You have to bite your tongue and watch the blood flow.
Right. And I have a lot of my father in me. My father is not afraid to let you know what he thinks. I mean, what
Mm-hmm.
comes up comes out. And it's not easy. Ahmad has experienced some things that I don't think he ever thought that he would experience, considering he grew up in Adairsville, and a lot of these people he's known all his life. His family has known each other all their lives, going to school together, and so a lot of the things that he's experienced is kind of like you've known me before I was even born. So and so for me, I kind of have to um pray about how I react to certain things because especially with social media, you just want to get on there and just type away and just, let the world just know how you feel. Um and but I won't go into detail some of the situations because I want him to have his chance to really voice the things that he's experienced. But I can say during um the Tuesday election, I was out there, just campaigning, holding up signs, and everything. And so as the people would come entering the precinct, it was a lady in front of me. I'm standing in the middle. Then there was another lady beside me. Well, they would blow and wave at her. They would skip me, wouldn't say anything. And then the lady next to me, they would blow and wave at her. And this was like constant. And so my aunt was also with me, and she talked about how the same thing happened to her, but the guy, when he rode past her, he gave her the thumbs down. Then the lady next to him, he waved, and then so he went, he voted, did his thing, um, came back, and he stopped at her and he said, "Well, are you Democrat?" And she was like, "Excuse me." He's like, "Are you Democrat?" And she was like, No, I'm independent." And he kind of was like, "Well, I guess that's okay." And then went off. But she wanted to react, but she knew she couldn't. And I think that's a lot of what we all are experiencing. There's things that happen to us and we want to react, but we know we can't because number one, um, if we react the way we really want to react, the blame's going to be put on us. Well, what did you do to provoke them? What did you say? Or well, they didn't mean it like that. I mean, it's never no one ever wants to take the time to actually look at the whole situation as a whole. It's always one-sided.
And I'm sure that that frustrates you, that you
Mhm.
are in a box now, pretty much, and you're not able to really express yourself the way that you want. You have too much to lose.
Mhm.
And you have to consider the people that you love,
Mhm.
and just be quiet
Mhm.
in most cases. So, how do you believe that the village is going to contribute to, a whole new, you know, way of thinking? Because whenever it's solidified that he's the winner,
Mhm.
it's going to really change some things, and you're going to really need the village.
Mhm.
See, I love the focus of it takes a village, because the village ain't going nowhere. I
Right.
believe what happens is different people are just temporal in your life,
Mhm.
but whenever God elevates you or whatever the situation may be, I believe He'll bring people into your life to help you conquer some things, right?
Right. Right.
So, how do you believe that the village is going to contribute to the future successes, for you and your family, in politics? Because
Mhm.
that's what it is. You are in the spiritual side, in the political side, because he's a minister,
Mhm.
and then there's politics on this side. And most times people don't want to talk about the two because it's such a controversy. But he got both, and it could be something.
Mhm.
So thank God for you, because I believe that you are just what he needs, and he's going to need you to be like, well, Ahmad, we got to consider this, before we speak, and we got to consider that, before we move, or what, you know, you got to have the right person in your life. So tell me, how do you feel the village is going to contribute your whole new circle? Some folks you got to get rid of. Mm,
Mhm. Well, I will say, Ahmad is not a confrontational person. So when it comes to conflict, he's usually the one to say, just hold on or don't say nothing. And I'm the one that's like, no, we gotta speak on it. Or, well, I'm just gonna say what I think. He'll, be like, like I got it. Because he has a way with words.
he does.
And I tell him all the time, like he has a way of um expressing his frustration without it being disrespectful or or anything like that. And I think for the village, I think he is going to be that piece of the puzzle to help things to be put together and to
Mm,
come around, and for people to see things in a different light that they have refused to see.
mm.
And I think once that light begins to get brighter and brighter, they're going to want to know and be interested in what's going on. And I think it's just going to start from there. And I mean, I think it's just going to, you know, um, the word is going to spread about what's going on, and just how the community is, coming together
Coming
because of
together.
somebody, trying to, just,
Make a difference.
yeah, and to just take the time to do it and to actually listen to what the community is saying, and not just trying to just take little bits and pieces here. He wants to hear his community stories, he wants to hear their concerns, and he wants to get to know them, like from their heart, not just from what somebody has said.
Right. I like that you said that, because I think it's so unfair when people are judged by what someone else's opinion is or what someone else thinks. And you don't even get a chance to meet and greet the person to determine
Mhm.
who they are, you
Mhm.
know, because of the opinion of others. I'm thankful that he's that type of man. And you are too, that you prefer to meet a person and know a person to determine yourself, who they are, and not based off of someone else. And that's a contribution to the village as well. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? So I'm glad to hear that. So tell me, how important is it, to have a certain amount of time as a family? Because with what's ahead, you and your husband, y'all gonna have to like schedule time, because it's just this, when you're a community leader and when you are working in the ministry, which you are very familiar with, because even though your parents divorced early, it didn't stop things from happening because you was with your grandmother, and y'all still was doing it. So you understand that there's gonna be times where y'all got to plan date night, family time. What kind of advice can you give to, you know, um, couples that are in the ministry and, doing community work full time, because it's needed right now. It's needed right now for everybody to just work, because things are not yet done, right? So what do you recommend, families do in order to, stay grounded, and making sure that there's no separation and division in the home. You don't need to ever feel like we're more important as a people than you are. Ahmad never needs to feel that we're more important than you are. And when I say we, I'm talking about the community, whether it be the church, right, or, the people that, that he has committed to serve. So,
well, I will say that we, as a couple, as a family, we are learning. I mean, it's not, there's good days and there's bad days, just like with anything. I mean, we're not perfect. We don't, strive to be perfect. We don't sit here and put ourselves out there like we're perfect. I mean, we're human and we're learning. And September 2021 will be 5 years that we're married. And so I think we're in those learning stages of trying to figure things out, because if you know Ahmad, he's a busybody. He can't be still. And so a lot of times, I'll, he'll throw little hints out there, maybe we should do this or do that. And, somebody will call and need something, or somebody will call just want him to, for him to listen to them, or, or something like that. And a lot of times, he'll ask me, well, we were supposed to, have date night, we're supposed to go here, is it okay? And of course, I'm gonna say yes, but I know that I need to, sometimes, just learn to be okay with saying no.
Yes.
It's okay to say no.
It's okay to say no. I believe that we, as the women of the house, are the grounded ones. I think that we're the ones that have to remind them, sweetie, no this time. Because it's like we give them permission to say no. Because, men working makes them feel more like men. You know what I'm saying? And we have to step in and like put the brakes on it. So I believe that you're helping so many this morning, and that's what Monday Motivation is all about. We need to be able to get things moving so people have something to work with throughout the week. It's a team effort. It's a village effort, right?
Yes.
What is it that you feel that you have learned, with the things that you have experienced growing up? It's just amazing that you remember what happened at 3 years old. And I know that just changed your life. That changed your life because you had to feel certain things about your mom. You had to feel certain things about your dad growing up, trying to figure out why. Why did this happen? So as an adult today, can you share with the listeners how you've grown from your experiences, based off of what you witnessed as a child? You were used to that, your 4 years of your life. And then what you were used to, you went into another level of something else, and you just continued. It continued to change. But look at you today. God has saw fit for you to be in a place of stableness where where you're blossoming, and he's chosen you to make a difference and to be the change that people desire to see. So can you talk to the people that are listening, uh, in very few words, sharing how all that you went through, it wasn't in vain. The things that transpired and happened, it wasn't in vain, because here you are now, and God sees fit that you are equipped to be the leader to change.
Just in the last month, I would say that I've been able to even look myself in the mirror to even tell myself that, you are beautiful. Um, you you are worthy, I love you. Like, I've genuinely been able to do that, because a lot of times, you look yourself in the mirror and you tell yourself that you're beautiful, but then 10 seconds later, you're thinking about, oh, well, look at that scar on your forehead, or, look at this and look at that, but it's just been within the last month that I've been able to actually look at myself for longer than, a few seconds, and really feel genuinely good about myself. And so, I would tell anybody to, um, look at yourself in the mirror. And if you can't look at yourself longer than a few seconds without, thinking about other things, then you need to figure out why, what's happening, like, what are those deep, deep wounds that you just refuse to heal? Because a lot of times, we think wounds are healed, but sometimes, you pick at your little scabs, and then you reinfect that wound, and then you do something for it, and then you constantly just packing it with ointment, but you're not really deep cleansing it like you need to.
Wow. Yes.
And so, I mean, I tell anybody, I tell my friends, they're always talking about how, they're rushing in the mornings and they're doing this and doing that. I tell them, like, well, you need to wake up at least 30 minutes, however long it takes, to have that time for you, even when you're in the car, after you drop your children off, from when you drop your children off to when it's time to go to work, have that time for you, whether it's turning on some, for me, it's worship music. I mean, but whatever type of music you want to, have that time for you so that you can get your mind together to be able to slowly um control the things that you experience. I mean, because it is a process. It's not nothing that's gonna, just happen within a few seconds. I mean, it may take years before you're able to deal with a lot of the issues that you've dealt with. And I mean, I'm 33 years old, and I mean, you're talking about things that happened 30 years ago, and I'm just now dealing with them.
So I hear you saying that based off of all that you have been through and had to deal with, you have now come to a place to where it's like, okay, it is what it is.
Mhm,
I'm embracing it.
mhm.
I'm loving me. I see goodness in me. It's like it's put you in a place of, of attention. You know
Mhm,
what I'm saying? It's like it has you, it's like, okay, it happened. And
mhm,
life happened. And
mhm,
I've learned from it, and I'm still learning from it. And I got some things I need to work on. But
mhm,
today I'm loving me. And
mhm,
today I'm gonna be all right. And
mhm.
today I'm gonna conquer. That's
Yes,
why I hear you saying, so you still a work in progress. Am I right
yes,
about it?
yes. To the
That's what
day
I'm talking
we
about.
meet Jesus, we will always be a work in progress.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what people need to hear. They need to hear the truth. They
Mhm.
need to see transparency. I'm so sick of the fakey reiki.
Yes.
I'm just so sick of that. And you won't find that here on Reveal and Heal, because you can't heal what you don't reveal.
Right.
And the thing about it is, there are people that are listening, they need some healing.
Mhm.
And we just have to share our ugly so people can heal. There's
Right.
nothing to be ashamed of. We are the temple of the Almighty God. And He is not going to come down here, and be the one speaking unless He's speaking through us. Am I right about it?
You're right.
We're going to get ready to close, but it's just, I love so much. how you have just been so real. And my impression of you is that you're real sister for real. You know, there's no room for nothing outside of being real.
Right.
And I believe it's a stage of bondage when people are not being who they're supposed to be. Talk to
Right.
someone this morning that um, is wanting to transition into doing some things that they procrastinated about: weight loss, learning how to drive, going back to school, you know, baby steps of things that they desire to do, because through the pandemic, this is a good time for people to really thrust into some things that they wanted to do because they ain't got enough time on their hands.
Right.
Speak to someone that needs to be encouraged in moving forward, with that dream or that vision, that they've been wanting to do.
Well, I would tell anyone, I don't care what it is, just like me and my husband, when we started our weight loss journey back in June. And he started maybe like a week and a half before I did. And then he came to me and he was like, here, Tam, here's the paperwork. I want you to fill it out. And I said, okay, I'll do it, maybe tomorrow. So he's like, no, go ahead and fill it out. And then I'll take it, back to the doctor tomorrow. And I said, okay. So I filled it out or whatever. And I'm thinking, because it was almost close to 4th of July weekend. So I'm thinking, oh, well, they'll probably won't call me for another week or two. And then they called me like the next day. And I was like, okay. And then I said, well, when do I need to come in? She said, oh, well, can you come in tomorrow? And I'm like, because in my mind, I'm thinking I can't start a diet in the middle of the week. I have to start the diet the beginning of the month. And so with that whole weight loss journey, it was something, just doing something that I'd never done before. I always thought that I needed to start something on the first of the month. So starting it in the middle of the week, almost at the end of the month, was just a big challenge, and just for itself, because I actually pushed through it. And then mentally, I was in it. You have to be mentally in it. If your mind is not in it, you're not going to be in it. And I mean, you have to be um, strong enough mentally to want to do something. I mean, if you want to, write a book, even if it's just like one of those little small pocket books. I mean, if you're mentally strong enough to do it, you can do it, regardless of what anybody tells you. Because I mean, you're going to have people to say that it's going to be financially a burden for you, or time consuming. But if you know that you can do it and you've prayed about it and God has told you to do it, it's all you can do, is just to do it, and make sure that you have people around you who can push you every now and then to say, stop thinking like that, or stop talking like that. You got it. We're going to do it. We're going to take it one day at a time. We're going to put one foot in front of another, and we're going to get through it. I mean, yes, you may have times where you fall off. I mean, because I'm not going to sit here and say that I've was strict on my diet every single day. I mean, just the other day, I had me a bowl of banana pudding. It was delicious.
All right.
Even though in the back of my mind, I was like, now, Tam, you don't ate that banana pudding. So then a few days from now, you're going to want some more banana pudding.
Uh-huh.
But I have to be strong enough to say, no, like every now and then, you can have you something, because it's okay to treat yourself. It's okay to soothe yourself with, I mean, things that you enjoy, but you just have to make sure you stay encouraged, make sure you are disciplined enough to tell yourself, like, okay, you know you don't need that, okay, instead of getting a full plate of this or that, cut down on your portions or whatever. And that's not just with food, but with anything, with adding so much to your plate within life itself. Like, I mean, there's only 24 hours in a day, and 8 of those hours you need to rest, because if you don't rest, your body's going to tell you to. And so, I mean, I
Amen.
just
Amen and amen and amen. You have been such a jewel this morning. I want to thank you so much for gracing your presence with Revealing Here Motivation Monday. Our quote for Monday is, there are 7 days in the week, and Sunday isn't one of them. Let's get it.
Yes.
See, what you stated just fell in line with the quote for the week. Forget about all that extra stuff, that procrastinating and all of that. Let's get it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, darling.
Thank you
I
for
pray
having
your
me.
day is amazing. And you got to come back and see us.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Facebook, you can't heal what you don't reveal. Remember to love yourself, love everybody, and be an example. Have a great day, everybody.